The poor pup Rose has been through many hectic events in her life, and she recently spent more than 4 years practically on death row. The scared and timid pup recently went through a trauma after a burglary, and out of fear, she bit 2 people who were cornering her while she was trying to escape. Even though Rose had never hurt anyone before and is anything but a dangerous or aggressive dog, she would have been euthanized because she was labeled mean and vicious. Her situation didn't look good at all. But luckily, people continued fighting for her. Rose's story begins in 2013 when she was adopted by Glorianne Lagnice. The woman first met Rose thanks to friends who took her in, because the pup could no longer stay at the shelter. Rose has minimal training, and because she's a black pup, which for some reason have a much harder time finding new home and getting adopted, the group was afraid that the shelter would put her down. However, the group of friends quickly realized that they wouldn't be able to give Rose the attention she deserved because she had too many other pups to care for. That's when all of them suggested that Rose would stay with Glorianne permanently, since they already have a special bond and get along really well. But it was a bit much, and they asked me to babysit for her. We had her at our house a lot, then a few overnights. She fit in so well, so they asked if we wanted to keep her. Because of her lack of training and time at the shelter, Rose was still timid and fearful. Glorianne has always said that Rose is a good dog, but she knows that Rose still needed time to get used to her environment at home and to relax. For example, she has a very low self-confidence level and is often scared. Sometimes she hears a noise in the house and she'd run away and hide, the woman recalls. She always gets along incredibly well with other people and pets, and children absolutely adore her. Slowly but surely, Rose started to make some progress. After a while, the pup felt more confident and wasn't as scared or timid as before. That all changed, however, when a burglar decided to enter the house almost 1 year after Rose was adopted. The burglar let all of the dogs loose, and Rose didn't know what to do. Rose was running on the streets, and a number of neighbors were trying to help. They tried to catch all of the dogs that were loose, but Rose panicked and was extremely scared. In a frightening and extremely hectic moment, Rose then lightly bit 2 people who were cornering her because she thought they had bad intentions. It was a condo complex, and they'd corner her and tried to contain her, and she got scared, Glorianne said. People that she didn't know were surrounding her, and she had nowhere to go. The bites weren't severe, but the damage had already been done. Some of the neighbors then called the police, which then informed the officers from a local animal control center. Rose's owner was then told she would need to spend 10 days at the shelter. She did not yet realize, however, that Rose would be put on death row shortly after. I said, "Okay, here's the dog," because I didn't realize I could have said something else, she recalls. I handed her over, following directions, and they said 10 days. After those 10 days, Glorianne was expecting to welcome her 4-footer back home again, but that didn't happen. Instead, animal control officers told her that she would have to be put down. "She's a sweet dog, and I didn't see why she would get killed because she nipped somebody," Glorianne said. "I decided that I wanted to fight for her, and that's what we did." Luckily, the woman wasn't planning on giving up on her pup. She then enlisted attorney Tom Page, who has plenty of experience dealing with similar cases. The lawyer worked pro bono and fought hard to make sure that Rose could return home and would be saved from a lethal injection. The whole process ended up being a complicated mess, and after months, the case was transferred to the federal level. In the meantime, Rose spent her days all alone at the shelter, sitting locked behind a fence. The poor pup didn't even have a bed, let alone playmates, toys, or decent medical attention. The only thing she had was a metal food bowl. Every time Glorianne saw her pup, that metal food bowl in her mouth, it broke her heart. To make things even worse, the owners weren't even allowed to touch her. She had to be locked up behind a fence at all times, as if she were in jail. The pup's scared personality made the situation even worse. All we could do was talk to her from a distance, and it was really hard on us, and it was really hard on her. She didn't understand why we kept leaving, and why I could never pet her or get close to her or give her a treat. It was just horrible. After 4.5 years, the case was finally closed in favor of Rose. Even though it took an almost unbearable amount of time, Rose's life was safe once again. However, there were some conditions. Glorianne could no longer care for her and had to relinquish her ownership. Furthermore, the pup would have to be fostered by a professional dog trainer. "I can't believe she's finally out," she said. 4 years and 8 months have just been torture. Rose has been seeing her dog trainer and is doing better now. Remarkably, the 7-year-old pup has managed to adjust quite well to her new home in Furry Friends Foster and Rescue. Glorianne has a friend who runs things in the animal organization, so she can regularly keep in touch with her canine buddy. Right now, the plan is for Rose to stay at the animal organization for a few months while she gets some additional dog training and undergoes rehab. After that, she will be put up for adoption once again. I want a home that is going to take her out for walks and love her and give her treats and let her sleep on a bed and just let her be a dog, because that's what she should have had all along, Glorianne concluded. Please share this with your friends and family.